Okay guys, so I'm just going to show you how to use some of our Easter stamps and how to decorate with them. So I'm first of all going to start with this little guy, our little bunny. So we just need to apply a little bit of pressure all the way around, just because there is a couple of depths to this stamp. So if you want to get the eyes to pop a little bit for you, yeah, we'll just have to put a little bit of pressure on there for that one. So we've got that guy, and we've also got this little guy here. So I'm going to do the same thing, apply a bit of pressure all the way around, and where the handle is as well. Okay, so we've got our two stamps there. Just going to cut those out. Okay. Okay. So with these guys, when I'm painting them, I actually like to use dried fondant. So I'll just show you here so you can see the stamp. The eyes are raised a little bit, the nose is raised a little bit, and just debossed is the inside of the ears. And same with this little guy. He has a raised little tail, a debossed little ear, and raised eye and nose. I'm just going to pop those off to the side because I actually did these ones just a little bit earlier and they've dried out. So this is what I'm going to show you when I'm decorating, so when I'm painting. So what I've got here is a little palette. I've got a little bit of edible art paint. You can see this is very well used, this bottle. I only need just a tiny little bit. And I've got some rose spirit. So I'm just going to, I've got a little eyedropper tool here, so I'm just going to, in a separate little spot, pop some of that. Okay, so we'll start with this little guy here. Now, I've got a couple little brushes here. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of black to that rose water that I've just created, or that I've just added there. So it's quite faint. And I'm going to just brush. I'm just going to paint all over my little bunny here really lightly. It's just really fine. Actually, I might just add a little bit more black to that, might make it a little bit darker. So I'm going to paint a really fine little grey all over my bunny, which is raised, so it's a little bit easier to see where you're going and keep within the lines. Okay, so I've done that first layer. I'm going to add a little bit more black. So it's a darker colour again. You only need to add I'm going to sort of layer up the colour. So now I'm just sort of going to go around here. I'm going around the edges of his ears, the base of his ears, there, and around his head. So I just want to layer up the colour just around the edges now because I want him to stay fairly light. So I'm going to put a little bit more colour there. Okay, and just a little bit, I'm going to do another layer, so another little darker bit. So I've added a little bit more black again to my mixture there. Gone a little bit darker here again at the base of the ears, around the top of his head, and just around the edge of his face as well. So, just so I can show you there. So you can sort of see he's getting that colour layered up. So, now what I'm going to do is here, that's all I really want to do. I don't want to do too much to him. I'll just make it a little bit darker on those edges there again. Okay. Now I've also got a little bit of pink here. Again, I'm using edible art paint, so I've got just the baby pink. Again, I just need a little drop of that. And I'm going to just add another little section here with some more of my rose spirit. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of pink here to that. Okay, so I've got my pink, and now I'm just going to paint the insides of his ears. So just add that. Might make that a little pinker. Okay, so, and I also, I'm going to make his nose just a touch darker. So you can see he's got some pink in his ears now, and I'm just going to paint his little nose as well. Now the beauty of using Rose Spirit is that it actually helps your paints dry a little bit faster as well, so that's great. Right, so now I've got this, I've got my grey painted, I've got my pink painted. You can see his little eyes there. Now you can either paint them with the black, or I've got an edible marker here. I'm just going to quickly colour over his eyes. Okay. Again, because his eyes were raised, it was quite easy to just colour in his eyes over the top. Now, so my paint's just a little bit wet still, but I'm going to go over and outline this bunny with the edible marker as well. So I will let that dry a little bit. So I'll go on to our next cookie, which is this little guy here. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do the grey around the edges of him like I did with the last bunny. So we'll just colour in around or paint around here. So I'm just going around the edges with him, just really lightly. I'm just going to add a little bit more Rose Spirit to that one because it's the same grey that I used for the darker parts of the other bunnies. So I'm just going to lighten that up a little bit and paint his ears. Now you don't really have to be an artist. This is like really quite rough because it's just sort of like shadowing or shading, I guess, in a way. So okay, so I've just lightly painted over my bunny with some grey there. Again, I'm just going to use that pink colour again just to do the inside of his ear, which is super easy to do because it's debossed there. And I'm going to do pink again on his nose right there, and I'm going to use my edible marker to just do his little eye. Okay, so again, super easy. So we've just painted that, got his eye on, got his nose on. I also have some of this edible dust or luster here. It's not really a luster, it's matte, but I'm just going to put a little bit of that on my brush. I'm just going to give him a rosy little cheek there as well. So we've got a rosy little cheek on our guy, and I'm also going to outline this with edible marker as well. So I'll let him dry. So I'll come back to this guy here, who I'm actually going to also add some blush to as well. So I've just added a little bit of blush down there in the bottom to him. Okay. So yeah, he's pretty dry. So again, that's what he looks like. I'm now just going to give him the definition by outlining him. So I've got, this is just a two-sided marker. One side's a bit thicker and one's a bit thinner. So I'm just using the thinner side. I'm just going to trace really roughly around the outside of him. And again, it's just quite easy to trace around the outside of him with an edible marker because the ears and the face are raised off the background. So just makes it that little bit easier for you. So I'll just show you this in a second. So there we go, we've outlined our bunny there. I'm also just going to give him a little outline on the inside of his ears there. Again, it doesn't really have to be perfect because it's like his fur, so it can be a little bit rough. Okay, and then I'm also just going to give him a couple of little marks in his hair there. So there we go, we've got our little bunny there. And if you like, you could just add a couple little white dots to his eyes to give his eyes a little bit more definition. But yeah, it's really simple to use, and hope you guys find it as simple as this tutorial. Now I'll go back to this guy and I'll also outline him. So I just think it looks quite cute with the little dark outline. Again, because this is slightly raised, it's just a little bit easier to do the outlining with your marker as well. Just traced all the way around. And his little hand there. Okay, and I might even just trace around his little bunny tail here. Okay, so there you go, and there's your cute little bunny. Again, hopefully you find this super easy with the raised details to paint or draw over. So hope you enjoy this tutorial, and let me know if you have any questions. And there they are together, actually they're very cute together. So the watercolor using edible art paints is super easy to use. You definitely don't need to be an artist. Yes, super easy. So I hope you guys enjoy that.